What's up, Scar Knight, bringing you a Scarlet and Violet trailer breakdown analysis video. So this is probably the final one up until if Scarlet and Violet decides to do DLC. And this is going to be one take because I am doing it the day before Scarlet and Violet comes out. And once you see this, the game should be already out because I got hours to, get ready to upload this video. And I'm not going to put as much editing as I usually do with like all the other Scarlet and Violet videos, only because it's restrictions because of time, basically, because I'm even still editing the hour-long video from yesterday, I suppose. Yeah, I have yet to finish it. I got 30 more minutes to edit for that, but regardless, let's just get started with this. I guess I should mention that I did kind of forgot a few lines besides me saying Iono or whatever. There was like the frame that I forgot about the Wiglet, but besides that, like that entirety of the time, it just makes me think that like all the episodes that has Ash, just looking at the Pokemon and seeing how they behave, makes me think that they're a better researcher than the whole group that was at the beach that day. I don't know, I just find that a bit weird. You know how I mentioned that Wiglet was just like a garden eel? Well, there's also that theory with like Diglett just being straight up men. I'm pretty sure you just seen that meme, especially with Doug Trio just being 3 men put together. So I really don't know what the fuck a Wiglet would be in that case. I also didn't point out about Iono's like little biopic, which is right here. Iono is the gym leader of Levencia, one of the Paldea's region prominent cities specializing in electric type Pokemon. She's also known as a supercharged streamer, have gained popularity as the host of Iono Zone. She even streams her work as a gym leader and seems to place great emphasis on viewer engagement on her channel and the number of views she gets. Her catchphrases include, "Your eyeballs are mine, caught in my electro web," and "Hello, hello, hola, ciao, and bonjour." I'm honestly a bit shocked that I didn't give like an extra voice or whatever, but that's fine. There was a Japanese trailer that I didn't cover, but it doesn't really have too much. Like, I'll show it all here in like double speed or whatever speed I decided on putting. There's just different angles and all that. So, like, there's like one that I can remember that's like some combis and a slightly different angle by a fountain and Slowpoke swimming, which is kind of unheard of because I don't even know if he could swim. He hangs up at the water, but I never even dipped his toe in there or anything. Maybe his tail though. I forget what else was notable about that, but besides that, like I mentioned about Terra Blast because I never seen any Pokemon just have it, but there is like I have a screenshot right here with them having Terra Blast for like the Drifloon, using it on Cloth. Yeah, he already has it to begin with. It's not until you terraform that you get to use that type, whatever you are, pretty much, because besides that it would just be normal type, because I noticed it through editing and I never really pointed it out. And there's actually some people that already tried out the game. Like, I'm pretty sure now, besides being the game out right now as we speak, like I know that people got the game a little bit early, especially had it in like a Thursday rather than the Friday. And there was like about a month or so ago, I think before Belly Bolt was announced, that there was like certain people that played for like an hour, for their demo, and they had seen Belly Bolt first, and they noted that there was like almost like an autofocus when it comes to like throwing Pokeballs in the Let's Go function. Like, you could throw the Pokeball to encounter the Pokemon and all that, and there's some trainers that you could literally avoid, like even if they look at you, but it's until you approach them that you could choose to battle them. So it's a bit interesting. Other than that, let's go look at the final trailer, because I'm pretty sure by now it's finished with the other one. I'll try to breeze by it because I can't really like take too much time on every single screenshot, so we'll go try our best here. So the Scarlet Train is running through, heading towards the city as the Scarlet and Violet begins, as they're wandering and looking around. And there was like a neat screenshot that I remember that Quaxley was telling Fuecoco not to eat the apple, and I thought that was pretty cool. But Ed Sheeran singing Celestial, I completely forgot that happened. Koraidon and Miraidon. A little zoom in of the place. The statue of the Staraptor, and then Staravia and Fletchinder, and some nice paintings in the background. Look at that. Gyarados, Eevee, Fanfi, a Ditto, Cacnea, Dedenne. We see Pachirisu, Riolu, and I think that was a Hatana. I think. I can't tell because it's like a little bit cut off. But Clavel's talking about the treasure hunt as always, with the other 4 people, them riding around with Koraidon, Miraidon, Sprigatito, Quaxley, and yeah, there we go, Fuecoco. I was waiting for you to come out. The Scarlet Trainer about to battle Bracius. Some people say it's pronounced Bracius, but terraforming Quaxley into the water type, Bracius terraforming Sudowoodo into the grass type, and I think that was the move Trailblaze, which which increases his speed and knocks out Quaxley. And now the Scarlet Trainer in front of the Pokemon Center walking down. I hope you get even stronger, like way stronger. And once you do, you and me could just battle our hearts out. You know, I noticed that she does that pose a lot where she puts her hands together kind of admiringly. You know, kind of similarly to like in the Sword and Shield, like there was the little professor that kind of twirls her hair a bit. So I kind of noticed that. Some Smolives, a Pikachu getting snugged on with the Lechonk there in like the Savannah area. Now they're friends with Pikachu, I guess. Greydon and Miraidon. And then a bunch of selfies with all the starter Pokemons, including Eevee. Why, I shouldn't exclude him, like you already know he counts as a starter Pokemon nowadays. But Ravioli, Girafarig, Koraidon, Larvitar, Eevee, Quaxley, and Armarouge. Why is there 7? Well, I guess Koraidon was like accompanying them, like I mentioned. And over here's the Titan, Palmy, Miraidon, Sprigatito, Fido, and Cerulege. I feel like I'm missing a Pokemon. What the fuck? Hang on. There's 6 of them here, but why does the other guy have 7? Sandwich making. I just saw a Pikachu pick, so that answers my question when it comes to the Eevee picks. There's multiple picks, people, and all these Pokemon eating. Yeah, there's 6 of them here. I'm like trying to wonder if there's anything. Sprigatito, and then like the Violet Trainer reacting to the cloth that's wrecking shop. And I noticed it eats the crystal. That's a different angle right there on its own, which is really interesting. Maybe that's why it's so huge. That's what she said, as it just completely just blows up like a freaking Super Saiyan. Leafage from Sprigatito, and then Quaxley attacking Torkoal, Tyranitar attacking a Donphan, Girafarig attacking a Grafaiai, and then another Grafaiai is just watching, and Girafarig evolving to Farigiraf, or Farigiraf, whatever you prefer to announce it to be called. Armarouge getting traded for Cerulege. I think they're so cool. I think I do like Cerulege more though. And the Scarlet Trainer with Farigiraf, Tyranitar, Quaxley, Jolteon, Lucario, and Cerulege. I might have said Cerulege twice, I don't recall. Him rating the Team Star plays with Psyduck and Cyclizar on these Growlithes. And then for Coco on this normal. I'm pretty sure the goal with that, because I've been told from like the demo that it's specifically a Pokemon that you need to look for. Like fighting these Torkoals and Normals doesn't matter if you have to face 30 Growlithes. So it's a bit interesting. This car is approaching with Mila, of course, for Coco's still there, and she's getting outraged. And that's a different screenshot right there that I really like. I could show that little clip with like the engine that I keep mentioning reacting, like you see his tongue flicking around and everything. I kind of wish that, like, you know, it was something to be from that's been announced, but I still have yet to know the name of it. I guess you could say my journey is to become a champion was the treasure I found, maybe. Also, she wants to be a champion as well. Interesting. Do keep in mind that the treasure hunt has no set course of criteria you must follow. Simply go where your heart takes you, and you shall do splendidly. Just decided to give him an extra voice. Your whole group riding with Koraidon and Miraidons. Penny reacting, and Iono's there. And then Grusha, Gita. I almost said Greta. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. In the library? Why are you talking when people are like trying to study? Kita? You Pokemon trainers are the treasure of Paldea. How goes your treasure hunt? Figure out what you're hunting for yet? Wait, so like legit no one knows? Or like what the hell? A treasure of our very own. I promise it will be an experience worth treasuring if you come. And then this part is probably the biggest highlight of the trailer, 100%, is Arvin opening this book in front of the Scarlet Trainer. This red book, and it's vice versa when it comes to the Violet Trainer, because they'll have a Violet book. And I'll tell you why that matters later. You see this picture and you're wondering what that's about. That's because this is exclusive to Scarlet, and I think it's called like the Great Tusk or something. And then this metal Donphan right here, I believe it's called the Iron Tread. I could be very well wrong, and that's literally all they show about it, but it is pretty fascinating. It is the same theme as Koraidon and Miraidon being past and future, and that's a trend with multiple Pokemon, and most of them already been leaked. I've been debating whether I should introduce the leaks in this video, and I decided against it just in case it might spoil somebody, because I don't want to spoil everything. Like at this point I kind of know certain things that I probably shouldn't have, but Koraidon and Miraidon flying away with Whoopie Boys and Green Greavard, Lechonks, Gimmighoul, Bellybolt, Wiglet, Cyclozar, Fido, it's going too fast, Palmy, and in front of this crystal place, which is interesting because this is the dens for like finding certain terraforms and all that, and there is certain events coming up. I believe after the game comes out, a week after or two, there's an event to get yourself Eevee, more likely, certain terraforms that you might benefit from, and I believe in December time that they were planning to use this Charizard, which is a dragon terraform. And the weird thing is about that game, you're only able to get one because Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard is not technically in the game. It's just Charizard though, just for one use in each different save file, and that's about it. And this is the only time you could get it too, so it's pretty interesting. They also mentioned about Zora and Zoroark, like the Hisuian forms being in the game after like a certain update, which I don't know how there's an update when the game just barely came out. Like I'm talking the day before, like when I'm recording this, so it's like I don't really get it because it's already 1.01 or whatever. Besides that, Kleavor's also there because I did mention about Scyther and Scizor, and I never know about like these Hisuian forms if I should include them or not, but Kleavor's confirmed to be in the game as well. Oh, and the other thing is with these dens, there's also like this special black crystal den that is really tough that's coming down the line, I believe in December time, because like for example Charizard, the dragons with the Terra type of dragon, is considered like a 7-star. I'm pretty sure, like I'm having a tough time remembering if Dynamax ranked their like mons. I'm pretty sure they did, but that's pretty much what it's about. And it's a fire type Scizor, flying type Dedenne, normal type Gengar, dragon type Dragapult. So I'm guessing just pure dragon, like, cause isn't it already dragon but ghost as well? That's a bit strange. I'm sure they got their own reasons on why they do stuff, maybe because it reduces their weaknesses or something, but it's the first time that we see the dragon Terra type, at least in this video. I already showed off Charizard, but they go to catch Dragapult, and there was also like a screenshot I remember involving Florian that I had pointed out that they were trying to catch like a water type Terra type Ralt. I always feel like it's redundant when I say that, but I like this cutscene. They're like flying up, having a good time and all that. And yeah, November 18th, which is today. Just cross your fingers I upload this video on time, because it'd be very embarrassing if I did it tomorrow. But yeah, flying type Terra type Pikachu. God damn it. Players who played past Pokemon games can get Rotom phone cases. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee will get you that. Sword and Shield will get you that. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl will get you that, and Legend Arceus will get you that case. So yeah, that is it for that trailer, and I wanted to talk just a little bit more because I didn't have time to talk about like the starter Pokemon. I was saving that for its own video, but I got so freaking behind, and I also wanted to do a map breakdown. I'll do as much as I can in this video, but not be too long, because like I said, I'm very restricted on time. I still have to finish 2 videos because today, not only like you see the Scarlet and Violet video, but there's the mystery dungeon video that I uploaded earlier, as long as I finish everything on time, that is. But yeah, let me talk about the starter Pokemon, because Sprigatito, my initial reaction, because I'm not gonna spoil any evolutions, because like I don't know, I just decided against it, but I'll tell you what I initially thought or was thinking was for sure gonna happen. Because with all the starters, just before I go talk about just one specific one, for the starters, I'm not too crazy about them, but I am kind of genuinely surprised that like a lot of people do actually like them, just for the fact that like, because for me 4th gen was all-rounded like one of my favorite starters. Like I love every single one, Turtwig, Chimchar, Piplup, I love them all. It's really good to see that like a lot of people do like these starters. Like I've been told that like, oh yeah, no, I love all 3 starters. I don't know what to decide and all that, and I feel like I don't know which one to decide either, because like, but I feel like for different reasons. My still favorite starters is 4th gen, and my favorite starter of all time is Cyndaquil, but that's extremely biased on my part. But yeah, I don't know which ones I would have gone, but I am more so leaning towards a specific one, only because I saw like the leaks. Maybe I'll reveal what that is, because at the same time I don't want to say what Pokemon I'm gonna get, because it's gonna also sound a bit biased. I mean, it is my opinion at the end of the day. Like, it's not concrete. You guys have your own opinion. Like I said, I feel like I'm the minority when it comes to these starters. But Sprigatito, I actually loved the design of this Pokemon. It was a grass kitty Pokemon. Originally, when I, was doodling and making my own starters, trying to, like I did it with a family member to see what we come up with. I actually originally made like a fire cat, and eventually will turn into a fire line Pokemon. And this was before Pyroar, and I feel like my Pokemon is better than Pyroar, because for Pyroar, he looks a bit too basic for a lion, like more basic than what a lion should be. But for Sprigatito, like, it crossed my mind. I'm like, what if it turns into like a grass lion? Like it has leaves for its mane or flowers for its mane or something like that. A lot of people want most of these Pokemon to stay quadrupedal instead of bipedal, because that's the thing when Litten was the thing and then he became bipedal. Yeah, that was the thing with Sprigatito. They're like, oh, please be quadrupedal, please be quadrupedal, please be quadrupedal. But yeah, I do like the design a lot. That was my original thought process on what it's gonna become. I don't really, my original thoughts, I don't really think it would become a grass lion, because they should know that that's not gonna be pulled off a plum, like the best way they could make a grass lion work if they use like cherry blossoms for the mane, because if it's a grass mane, it's gonna look funky. Like, I don't know how to say it. So my next thought was like, maybe it's gonna be like a quadrupedal grass lynx, so that would be pretty cool. As for Fuecoco, he is kind of a brilliant design. Like, I don't know how I feel about Fuecoco. Like, I don't hate it and I don't extremely love it. Like, I love it for different reasons. Like, its personality really brings out, like, what you have when you see Fuecoco and all that. And I always feel like a basic bitch, like, whenever like somebody had asked me, he's like, well, which starter am I gonna pick? And like I said, I made my decision after I saw the leaks and all that. But when somebody had asked me before I saw the leaks, I was like, yeah, I don't know which one I'm gonna pick. I guess Fuecoco. And they're like, oh, you would. It's like, yeah, I get that. There's always a basic bitch feeling of always picking the fire Pokemon or always picking the type that you usually get anyway, But Fuecoco is a brilliant design because, like, it's a chili pepper and at the same time it's an apple, because you can see it on the face is like a sliced apple, or it's kind of curved and all that, and then the chili pepper, kind of extending out to the tail, and then those two things at the top of his head is his energy, which I pointed out in a different video, which I shouldn't have. Like, I didn't want to talk about the Pokemon all that much. For evolutions, I wasn't really sure, because like when I thought about it, I'm like, well, obviously it's gonna be a bigger crocodile, right? I just don't know what extent it would be. And then like when I thought about it possibly being like a ghost pepper or something, some type of chili pepper, I thought that'd be a really, really cool design, especially if it's like one of those rainbow chili peppers or something. And if it turns out to be a ghost fire type, that's gonna be really, really cool. As for Quaxley, like, there's always good to have duck Pokemon like Psyduck and Quacklet. For Quaxley, I'm not too crazy about it. He's probably my least likely one that I would pick out of the three, because I was considering either Sprigatito or Fuecoco. And then like now that the starters are out, it kind of, finalized my decision. But I really don't know what Quaxley was going to become initially, because I thought about it and what I came up with. And I feel like I said that to like a different Pokemon, that it's more likely to be a Conquistador or some kind, because it's Spain based and all that. It'd be interesting if it was around that direction. And then I thought about like, what if it becomes like a Sailor Man or something? And something about the hair kind of speaks to me, like that hair is supposed to be designed as a hat, which is how I also like had thought about the Conquistador stuff. And then I also thought about, because I'm pretty sure I saw on Twitter that it might be Assassin's Creed related, but I don't think Pokemon would do that, so it's really hard to come up with what it would look like. So I just stuck to Conquistador. So that was the extent of what my thoughts were. But yeah, just let me know what you guys pick for what starters you wanted to get, pretty much. And yeah, those are my thoughts and my predictions and all that. These are my initial predictions. You guys will find out on your own whether I get it wrong or right. So there's that. And now the map breakdown. That's gonna be a whole interesting thing. When it comes to the demo, when you're playing for like an hour long, it kind of starts you you somewhat on the southeast and then going continuing in a decent part of the level. Like I know I played a demo before when it comes to Pokemon, and that was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and they kind of took me to Moss Deep, and I wasn't sure why, but the Pokemon are like mid-leveled, so that was pretty decent. I'm not really sure where to go into this breakdown because like I could do all day just talking about this entirety of the map and go one by one, and I could have showed pictures and videos on every single thing, and you know I would, but like I said, I have to upload this within hours. But I'll try to do like a much smaller way of just getting the clear points out the way. So basically, you already know that you start at the bottom where there's this orange house across this purple house, which I'm starting to think is where Geeta and Nimona lives, the two sisters. That's my guess that they're related, and Geeta would eventually become a champion pretty much, and that's why, I mean, she's the organizer of the gyms and the Pokemon League, but I'm pretty sure Geeta knows your family of some kind and knows you in depth, and her way of rewarding you is just letting one of the legendary Pokemon that are already friends with her accompany you throughout this journey. Once you go to the purple house, you're gonna go get these starter Pokemon, whether you pick Sprigatito, Fuecoco, or Quaxley. Is where I saw here's where Clavella showed up, and he's the one that offers you the Pokemon, and Nimona is there, and she's the one in charge of like tutoring you on learning the basics. But yeah, at some point when Clavel leaves, because I don't think he stays, when you go back to the beach, and it could be this spot like right outside the purple house and all that, or it could be the other spot, because I noticed a little bit later on the map somewhat upwards that there is another shoreline, but I'm pretty sure it's this one. It only makes sense to me. This, I guess, is headcanon. The companion legendary, whether it's correct on Miraidon, depending on the game that you play, would end up like seeing if you're worthy of being accompanied by. So you make your way, and then there's this bridge, and then there's this small town, which is basically like the Cherry Grove city. You know how like the city that doesn't have anything, it's just like the first town that you kind of go to. Doesn't have a gym or anything like that, but it's just, you know, the tutorial stuff. From what I understand, because like on the Pokemon cases, it mentioned that you could do this stuff, or maybe it was the Flying Terror type Pikachu. It's one of those things. It said on the bottom that once you go to this certain city, to get there is approximately like 2 hours of gameplay to get there. So it's gonna be a while till like tutoring stops and you get to the real meat where you could just go anywhere. But you go upwards until you make it to the main big city, and then from there you kind of see Clavel again, because he's the one that from the purple house that tells you, hey, come visit us, so we could begin, you know, the announcement, because it's going to be a huge announcement as we do annually for all our students or whatever. So once they tell the announcements to look for the treasure hunt and all that, and you could pick which way you want to go, whether it's the Path of Legends or so on with Victory Road, you could decide where to go to. Now based on from here, you could go to multiple places. You could go east or west, or I guess back south if you really want to, or there's also this cave entrance that's up here in the top left corner. The order I'm gonna talk about is pretty much like, I guess I could talk about like what it was announced first. So like I'll start with gym leader number 1, Grusha, which we already know is by the snowy mountains over here pretty much. And it's a bit interesting because like it's kind of by itself. Like we already saw the arena to the left and then like the gym over here, but there is a city that's kind of in the background, like almost around the mountain, so that's a bit interesting. And I feel like I'm gonna be all over the place when it comes to the map, but that's gym leader 1. I would like there to be every single type in this map, but I'm starting to think, and especially what I saw in the leaks, and I didn't see all the gym leaders in the leaks, by the way, it's just the pictures that I've been showing you, because I've been trying to look for it for a while, and that's all I could find. But besides that, I'm pretty sure there's just 8 gym leaders, and you could just pick which one you want to go to. If you wanted to go to that order first, if you want to go to Grusha, there he is. So yeah, I'm gonna see which order I could do this on. As for the grass type gym, which could be a lot of people's first gyms, because like I feel like the majority will get Fuecoco anyway, we'll go down here at the bottom right, which is kind of where the area where you could do the demo, and you could pick any of the 3 areas. Which also, I kind of was mistaken that I thought the Cheddar Squad was gonna be in the northwest, but I'm pretty sure it's this area right here where the flags are. This is where the fire crew is, and you could take on Mila. And I'm pretty sure around this canyon area is where you take on Cloth, all in these 3 areas. So like the demo kind of makes you do that pretty much. And the next gym leader pretty much announced Iono, which I'm starting to think Levencia is this town where the Meowth thing was. Cause I'm only guessing here, like I really have no clues on this. My only clue is she says ye old Levencia, so I feel like it's a very traditional place, very Spain based and all that. So that's literally all the clues that I have. So continue down over here. Whatever these towers contains is of course something important, but there's a tower on the way over here. But past that there's like another town. This town right here does look a lot tropical, like there's pools in every corner, unless those aren't pools. But you know, originally like the immediate thought is gonna be like, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be grass, water, is it gonna be ground because of the sand or something? There's something about it that seems very Oasis like. I thought about it and I'm all like, this kind of a red herring, especially that we know what the grass gym looks like, so it's not the grass gym. And it's definitely the town that we seen in this picture, if I could find it. Hopefully I could, but I think it's a bug type gym in this building. That's just a complete guess, only because of I don't know, that's just something that tells me that something tropical like that kind of attracts bugs. Like if you ever see the Philippines, you know, they have these bug nets to stay away from like mosquitoes and all that. Something about it, not that it's saying it's like infested or something like that, but there's also like the tropical gym area that if they're sticking to like type themes and all that, light green would be a bug gym color. But there is more of a path, like if you wanted to go to the left, you know, passing by the Pokemon Center, there is another tower on the way. And then there's this area, which has like a kind of anonymous feel to it. Because you see like this arena and it's purple and it kind of arcs over, and there's some thoughts like that crosses my mind, because it could be poison, it could be ghost, it could be rock, and it could also be ground. But I said the last place was like ground, so I wasn't really sure. But the purple makes me think that there's a ghost gym in this area. So that's 5 gyms I already pointed out. I really hope I got that right. Yeah, I'm not really sure. And like past the town there is a cave that's kind of by itself, because I don't think it leads anywhere. It might be just one room, just like, I'm trying to think of a legendary Pokemon that's literally by itself in the cave, like a Zelf, I suppose. Mesprit Yuxi. You go up here and there's like this pathway that leads to this cave point, which I think it is more of a labyrinth of a cave where you can find Pokemon and all that. It's not just like the one room place like the last one. But it is interesting, and there's a river that's kind of next to it. But yeah, let me go up here and talk about this gym. This gym is a bit interesting because like there's no obvious signs of a gym, and I have heard of a theory pertain to this gym, but what it could be and what I think it is, and it could be right and it could be wrong, I'm not really sure, but I think it is like a water gym. And like based on what they said like, well, you don't see any buildings or an arena or all that, because most of these gyms there'll be some obvious battle stadium there, like some battle arena. But since there's this water nearby and like you go inside the building, the whole gym could be underwater. Like it could be like a marine aquarium where you go inside, you take on the gym, and then you'll see the arena there underwater, and that's where you take the gym leader on, if that is a water gym leader. It's a neat guess. It's an interesting theory. I would like it to be true, but it could be easily like just the place to go after game. Like if you want to sail to, you know how there's the Isle of Armor or something like that. If there's the Scarlet and Violet DLC, this would be like the Isle of the Crown or some shit instead of Crown Tundra, something like that. Something does tell me that it is after game related, so I'm not really sure. But the water gym theory is enticing. Let's just say for now, like, let's not cement it and say that this is the water gym, because this place right here looks more watery to me, if I would say so myself. Watch it be wrong, and the other place is actually the water gym and I just been like bamboozled. Either way, past the water gym and all that, there's these flags right here, and we know from like the Team Cheddar Squad, the fire crew, that these flags means that you're crossing Team Star territory. And I never know where these buildings are because I saw the flags by the grass gym and I didn't know where the building is either, and I still don't see it here, so I'm not sure what that's about. But like I remember somebody was also doing their map breakdown and they mentioned that this was before Team Star was announced, that they believe that this is where you just race your friends because you're on motorcycles and all that. Well, Koraidon and Miraidon. And we know now that it's Team Star related. This place right here though, like once you get from the big center city, I forgot what it's called, but there's this big crater, right? And then there's like these two buildings that's kind of around it. One place is like almost like an observatory or some weather station. The other building seems to be a facility researching the crater itself. We'll talk about more about that a little bit later. But I don't know if it has any gyms in particular. I really don't think so. As for this place, we've seen this place loads of times in the pictures. It's just like the lake area. And like for this canyon area, it's going to be really cool to visit. This is for sure where a Titan Pokemon's going to live. Really interesting to go there. This place right here though, that's going to... Like I like the fact that the water comes out of this like cave. It'd be really cool if you managed to get like Koraidon or Miraidon over there and you find a legendary Pokemon, because that would be sick. But it's a nice ice mountain. This corner place right here is where another Team Star location is. It's like guarding a lighthouse, which could very well be, I want to say like a battle facility because it almost does look like that, but I'm pretty sure it's just Team Star. We already gone over the ice mountain, but going down the mountain, like you see some rivers and there's like a lot of pathways leading downward, and then like a lone Pokemon Center. And I think this is where like the Grafaiai area is, especially with the graffiti artist. We've seen screenshots of him with the snowy mountain in the background. This area right here is another Team Star area. You see like yellow flags. And I'm not sure what that cloud's about, because it happened before with the Lola especially, where like there's clouds blocking the top of the screen, and a lot of people thought it was on purpose because they're like, oh, that's where Kanto is, of course. So nobody really knows. So since Paldea is based off Spain, the theory goes that northeast from it, from a geographical standpoint, is where France is supposed to be. France is basically Kalos, and that's what people believe the clouds are blocking. So from Kalos and then Paldea over here, a lot of people believe that Kalos and Paldea had their war, and Kalos used their ultimate weapon on Paldea, and that's why the crater is here. So that's an interesting theory, because that could explain a lot of things. Because like there is two different timelines and all that, you know, one being Mega, one being not Mega. But what if the ultimate weapon did hit this place, and that's the whole reason terraforming is a thing? That's the whole reason terrestrializing is a thing. It's kind of interesting because we did see it in the Cloth's claw, you know, him eating some Terra crystals, and that only came from the ground. Like something about it made the soil more rich to perform these crystals and have very special attributes that affect these Pokemon. And you know, there's that other theory that I pointed out that like maybe certain Pokemon does evolve via Terra type. It is interesting nonetheless. I do kind of want to know what you guys think about this. There's this place right here. It has an arena in like the sand pit. I really want to say this is where the ground gym is, but I'm not really sure. Like I don't feel too strongly about it. It could easily be rock, but there's like a Pokemon Center and there's like a really big rounded building. There's like the tower to the right and like its own island and all this different stuff. I don't know how many gyms I pointed out. I feel like I did a piss poor job. That's pretty much the gist of the whole map. Like I want to go into a little bit more detail, but as far as we know, like I mean, by the time I'm saying this, somebody already at part 16 in 30 minutes or whatever the hell. But that's pretty much it for the map. And that's pretty much it for this video. So yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to press that like button. If you really like this, please consider subscribing. If you haven't considered subscribing yet, please watch one of my videos. I play the video games, and if you like playing video games, you might like my stuff. With that being said, next time would be probably more likely the DLC of Scarlet and Violet where I cover stuff. And if not, like maybe next time you'll see like a different video from mine. So hopefully we'll see you there. White Cycles and Dragons to you, and you've been scarred by the night. I'm out.